Now see this Boolean algebra. A lattice capital L is called Boolean algebra if it is distributed and complemented. It is don't get confused here. Let's see where we are now. Now we have first initially discussed about a set, and then we have discussed about Cartesian product. And if I take the subset of a Cartesian product, then it is called as a relation. And if the relation satisfies three properties, what is that? Reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive, then that particular relation is called as partial order relation. Now if I take that partial order relation along with this set, then this particular combination is called as poset, right? And then the poset will become a lattice if every two elements, if every pair is having lower upper, least upper bound and greatest lower bound, then if greatest lower bound and least upper bound, if these two exist for every pair of elements which are present in A, then we call such a poset as a lattice, right? And then if the lattice, okay, so see, these all things will become like too many things, but once you remember this flow, you will be easily able to remember it and answer the questions. And now if the lattice is having both least bound and then upper bound, lower bound and upper bound, let me call it that way, lower bound and upper bound, then it is called as bounded lattice, right? And similarly we have a concept called as distributive lattice. So if the lattice satisfies the distributive properties, then it is called as distributive lattice. Now in a bounded lattice, if every element has a complement, then it is called as complemented lattice. Now if a lattice happens to be both distributive and complemented, then this is called as Boolean algebra. Okay, so this is the entire concept that we derived till now. Now try to understand this one. We know that in a complemented lattice, every element should have at least one complement, isn't it? Which means complement of every element should be greater than or equal to 1, right? And if a lattice is distributive, we know that every element is going to have at most one complement, which means every element should have less than or equal to 1. Now if I take the intersection of these two, which means if a lattice has to be both distributive and complemented, then what is intersection? Only 1, which means every element should have exactly one complement, which means in a Boolean algebra every element will have a unique complement. Got it? But it does not mean that if you find a lattice with unique complement is always Boolean. So you have to check that it is both complemented as well as distributive. We shall get back to this. So once I talk about sublattices and some other properties, then I'll tell you how to identify whether a lattice is distributive or not. For now, just keep it simple. Try to understand only these things. So only one point that you should remember from this concept is, in a Boolean algebra, definitely every element is going to have exactly one complement, or every element has unique complement, right? So maybe you can take that point as well. What is it? In Boolean algebra, every element has a unique complement, which means every element is going to have at least one complement and exactly one complement. That is why it is called unique complement. Got it? So directly by looking at some Hussey diagrams, you can just rule out the possibility of that being a Boolean this algebra. So anyway, we'll do one thing. With examples I'll explain this. So if you understood this, fine. Otherwise, leave it till I get back to examples.
Hi, if you are planning to do masters, then doing masters abroad is better than doing masters in India. I'll give you all the reasons. So first reason is, out of 1 lakh students who take GATE every year, there are only 500 seats in old IITs. So all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%, and IITs universities better than IITs. They have very good acceptance rate like 30%, 40%. But all the IITs put together have an acceptance rate of 0.5%. And if you are working hard to get into IIT Bombay's ranking is 177 and IIT Roorkee's ranking is 400. If you are happy to get into IIT Roorkee, then getting into universities better than IIT Roorkee is easier compared to getting into IIT Roorkee. And looking at the salaries for computer science, for software jobs, if you have done your masters in computer science in US, the salaries are ranging from 80 lakhs per year to 1.2 crore per year. So even if you take an average of 1 crore per year, your savings will be much higher than the salaries in India. After taxes and your cost of living, you can easily save 40 to 50 lakhs per year. And in India, the maximum jobs that you get is around 30 lakhs. So your savings will be much greater than the salaries in India. And these are all the services that we provide. University shortlisting. So depending on your profile, we will shortlist what are the universities that you have to apply, and statement of purpose building, and then LOR guidance, and GRE and English test assistance, and education loan assistance. So you don't have to have any collateral, which means without any security, now you can get education loan. Getting education loan is very simple these days, and whatever the amount of fee that you have a range of universities. You can apply for 10 lakh universities, 20 lakh universities, or 50 lakh universities. But whatever it is, you are going to get complete education loan, and you can pay off your education loan in 1 year after you get a job. And then we do visa assistance, mock visa interviews, and then connecting with the university alumni. So now you might ask why we should join Game of Visas. So the answer is we have 90% success rate, 99% success rate. And these are all the destinations that we guide the students to. So we guide students to any country that you want to go. So now it is not just USA. We guide to UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. So we guide students to all the countries. We work with all the destinations. And if you are interested in going abroad, you have to just drop us a message on this WhatsApp number 9494 555 454. Okay, thank you.